So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to boost the effectiveness of your social media with paid ads. And this is obviously a very frequently asked question among the integrative medicine practitioners I work with. And so I wanted to provide a little bit context. And what you have to understand is that ultimately for your website, for your social media, for your emails, etc., to actually turn prospects into patients, we need both the traffic components to your website as well as the conversion element on your website that gets people onto your mailing list. And so if you're still working on the conversion elements, i.e. your lead magnets, your websites, your opt-ins, that's way more important than start driving traffic. I know everyone wants to fill their practice with leads and is eager to turn on ads, but without the conversion elements and without the content marketing on your website, on your social media and in your emails, those ads will not work very well. And what that means is that you're spending a lot of money without a lot of return on your investment. And the second piece I want to share is that content marketing really involves 20% of your effort is about creating the content, then 80% of your effort is on promoting the content. And so for most health practitioners, when they first get started, it's actually the opposite. They spend 80% of their time creating the content and 20% of the time promoting the content. But once we get to the point of we have a solid funnel, we have a website, email marketing, lead magnet, etc., then you have to focus a lot more on promoting the content, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And ultimately, the goal of content marketing is opt-ins. So what we're not trying to do is turn somebody that comes to your website immediately into a patient that signs up for a phone consultation, but what we're really trying to do is get people onto our mailing list so that we can nurture them with emails and videos in order to ultimately establish enough trust, get them to know, love, and trust us enough to schedule a phone consultation. And ultimately, the goal is to create repeatable processes that minimize your involvement as a practitioner, that you have a system of creating content and then promoting content, that ultimately the two of them together are generating a consistent flow of pre-educated patients. Now, before you boost your social media content with paid ads, there's two things you need to do. And while this is not the main topic of this video, I want to mention it so that you know where you are in the process and what you need to have in place before you start boosting your social media content with paid ads. And the first one is to optimize your social media channels. That involves, among other things, having completed the profile about section. So if somebody comes to your Instagram account, is your profile description compelling enough that they get an immediate idea why you're the expert for what condition? And again, a lot of practitioners are not doing a great job there. So that is a free, immediate action step that you need to take first before you actually think about paid ads. The next part is dial in your content strategy. And what I mean by that is that when people come to look at your profile, for instance, here is an example on the left and one on the right. And, can people tell immediately from your social media feed, from your Instagram feed, what kind of practitioners you are? Because if they cannot discern that, then you have to work on that first. So on the left-hand side, is a decent strategy, something that I see for a lot of practitioners. So there's a mix of images as well as quotes, but I would say that you would have a hard time, figuring out what this practitioner is about. You would almost think it's about nutrition, probably. And compare this to the feed on the right, where you see something from my friend Jolene Brighton, who's in the hormone space, and you can see, again, she now has a strategic mix where she alternates between images, ideally of her to anchor in her preeminence, and then quote cards. And what you take away from her feed is that you look at the quote cards to get an appreciation of what she's about. So in the top left, you see painful periods normal. So, okay, she's a hormone specialist, right? Then she talks about hormonal birth control and skin health. talk about birth control. Why does sugar make acne worse? And you will obviously realize that hormones are involved too. Acne worse before your period kind of be a sign of estrogen dominance. So, what you really want is your social media feed to look, something akin to Jolene's, where people can, take away from the quote cards what kind of social media experts you are. And so it's a gradual process to move there, but that's something you need to have in place. And then the next piece that needs to be in place is finally to have call to actions in every social media post. So obviously, if we're boosting social media posts and you're spending money on this, then obviously the social media post has to in turn generate an opt-in. So it's very important that you're integrating the right call to actions in every social media post. So it's not just, hey, comment below if you agree. That is not generating anything useful for you. So think about call to action of such as like, hey, I've written another article about this, click the link in the bio, or, download our guide on rebalancing your hormones, or join our upcoming workshop, or, sign up for our on-demand webinar. So it needs to be something that in turn leads to an opt-in so that you can then tie the ad spend on your social media on, with essentially, the return on investment of your advertising. And the second piece that needs to be in place before you boost your social media content with ads, whether they're on Facebook or Instagram, is to optimize your website funnel. So obviously you have to have a destination where your social media posts send people, where they opt in, right? So you have to have relevant content on your website, similar to what I talked about the social media feed, that when people come to your website, they see this expert post only about this topic. And as a result, I believe this expert is an expert in this topic. You have to have lead magnets on your website so people can opt in. And again, we talked about this in another video. The idea is really that alongside each sidebar in your blog post, that a lead magnet is featured. So if there's an article about probiotics, you should have your digestive health lead magnet in the sidebar, right? We also have to have an email nurture sequence in place. And whether that's a 10 in 10 email sequence or just a text-based sequence, you have to have something in place to continue the conversation after they opt in. And so again, just as a recap, before you start boosting your social media content with paid ads, you have to have your your website and your social media channels optimized so that you get the best return on investment on your ads. So if we're talking specifically about boosting your content, what does this look like? And so I start here with Facebook. The idea is with all your Facebook and Instagram ads to always limit the ads to a certain geographic radius around your practice. Because, ultimately, if you have a brick and mortar practice, the people that you want to reach out to, the people that you want to bring in onto your mailing list, need to be living close enough to be able to drive to your practice and become your patient. Now, this is obviously different if you have a strong telemedicine presence and you can serve people in a much larger area. But the idea is really that from the Facebook ad perspective, we're going to limit our ad spend only on a 20, 30-mile radius around your practice to those people that could foreseeably become your patient. So if you're interested, in patients with hormonal issues, specifically perimenopause and menopause, you would probably say, I'm going to run the ad within a 10, 20-mile radius around my practice, targeting women aged 40 to 55. And yes, other people could become your patients, but that's the core group of people that you want to target. So we don't want to spend our ad money on anybody that's not living within 10, 20-mile radius. Now, if you're in an intensely urban area, that 10-mile, 20-mile radius may be as small as 2 or 3 miles. So you have to decide how far are people willing to drive to connect with you and come see you. And then the second part is, what do you promote with paid ads? So again, it's got to be a call to action. So it could be raising awareness that you exist. So in that case, you could say, hey, I have a new video on XYZ. I want you to watch it. And so what you're doing is the Facebook ads sends people to a blog post on your website with that video. You could also have the Facebook ad send them to a video on your Facebook page. Again, freely available. And then it wouldn't be on your website, but you send them to that Facebook video post. You can send people to a blog post on your website. You can send people to a piece of a Facebook post that you posted and promote that. So you have flexibility on how you want to create awareness for them. It could be creating awareness for your Facebook posts, for your Facebook videos. It could be raising awareness for your blog posts, for the videos on your YouTube channel. So you decide what kind of awareness and where these pieces of content are residing. And then obviously, the second category is promoting anything that generates an email opt-in for you. So download my special guide on how to rebalance your hormones. That would be a link straight to your lead magnet landing page. It could be register for my 10 in 10 video series, register for my workshop or for my webinar. Or it could be schedule a free phone consult. So again, you can run ads for that. And again, all of these ads you can set up once, and then you can turn them on and off as you need. So you're not constantly creating an ad and then deleting an ad. You can reuse them over time. And you can see here on the left-hand side an ad that I'm running every once in a while from my Facebook business page, targeting health practitioners, right? And the call to action here is how to attract, nurture, and convert more prospective patients into clients, with a link to download my lead magnet. Now, the same principle is true for Instagram. So you can boost your content on Instagram and create an ad, again, through the Facebook Ads Manager, because Facebook owns Instagram, targeting an audience in a 10, 20-mile radius around your practice, either with or without interest targeting. And you can promote different things. You can promote blog posts, as I said before, Instagram posts, videos, etc., as well as lead magnets and anything where people opt in for. And so with Instagram, just as with Facebook, you can create also teaser videos, so you can promote videos or you can promote static content. So what you see here is an ad by Dr. Megan Walker on her upcoming Clinician CEO program. And again, this is something that shows up in Instagram stories. People can click on the ad and then they're taken to an opt-in page or a sales page that promotes that program. So from a very practical perspective, the next thing that you then need to know is what's the process. And the first process is to create a bucket on Facebook with the audience that you want to target with your ads. So again, you have 4 targeting options with Facebook ads and Instagram ads. The first one is you could say, I want to target people that are Facebook fans of my Facebook page. And that would be useful. Obviously, the type of ads that you would run to that audience is ads to get people onto your mailing list, because if they're already fans of your Facebook fan page, then they already have enough awareness that you exist and what kind of experts you are, because otherwise they would probably not have liked your Facebook page, right? You can then create lookalike audiences, and this could be uploading a customer database or a database of people that have previously opted in for your lead magnets, and then say, Facebook, find me similar people in my zip code that are very similar to the people that have already opted in. You could create interest audiences, and these are, audiences that like certain influences. So for instance, people that like Mark Hyman, that like, Amy Myers, that like Sarah Gottfried. So, if they already like these influences, those people would be good audiences to target. And then finally, you can have retargeting audiences. That means people that have interacted with your Facebook page in a certain way. They may have commented or liked or shared, or they have interacted with your website in a way that means they have visited your website and taken a certain action, like watching a video or read a certain blog post. And so what you do in Facebook then is creating a bucket that specifies, okay, these are is a bucket with my Facebook page fans. This is a bucket with lookalike audiences in a 10, 20-mile radius. So all of these audiences are limited down to people that are in a 10-mile radius, so that when you select these audiences, these buckets to promote your ads to, you know you're only spending money on people that could actually drive to your office and become patients. And so once you have these buckets defined, then the next part is creating the Facebook and Instagram ad in your Facebook ad manager. And again, if you're one of our clients, we have training in our client portal on how to set this up. But the idea is that for sake of simplicity, that you would promote one piece of content for 1 week. And so let's say every Monday you post a new video on your website, you would then create a Facebook ad to promote that video blog on your website for 1 week. And then once that's done, then, here's examples. One from the Natural Health Shaper, they're promoting a quiz to find out your metabolic type. So that is a lead magnet ad that gets people to come to your website, take the quiz, and then opt in. On the right-hand side is another ad. Again, this is for a blueprint for a lead magnet. So again, these are the type of ads they should really read as conversational posts, and they just get promoted and ultimately get people to take action. And so once you have created the ad and you run it, then next Monday what you would do is you would turn down the ad spend for that ad. You're not turning the ad off, so it's still officially approved by Facebook, but you just turn down the ad spend. So now you're not making any money available to run the ad, and as a result, Facebook is not running the ad anymore. And so then you create a new ad. You essentially clone the ad that you just created, keep the same audience that you're promoting it to, and then create a new ad promoting the next video that you have on your website or the next piece of content. And with any of these ads, you sort of allocate $3 to $5 a day. So you're spending about $100 a month on these types of ads to create awareness and opt-ins. And then, every Monday, rinse and repeat, start a new ad and turn down the ad spend on the previous week. And so after 10 to 12 weeks, you now have a portfolio of ads and that you have created. And at that point, you wouldn't even have to necessarily create new ads. You just turn down the previous ad spend for the previous ad, and then turn up the ad spend on an existing ad, and then again start running that ad over time. So you get to a point where you don't have to do a lot of extra work to create these ads, and that will then help you promote your content over time. And so I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any other questions, or if you want to know what the next best steps are for you, offering a free 30-minute strategy session where we can review your goals and needs. And if it makes sense to you, we can then talk about partnering together on your marketing. And to get started, simply go to bigboost.marketing/apply. And I hope to speak to you soon.